Hey YouTube, it's MrLuBuFu here with Magic the Gathering 2013 M13 core set spoilers. A few of them were released on the Wizards website last night, a good series of uncommons, and let's just go ahead and go through them. The first card is an artifact called Trading Posts, 4 cost, and it has a ton of abilities. So you can either 1-tap, discard a card, and you gain 4 life. You can 1-tap, pay 1 life, and put a 0/1 white goat creature token onto the battlefield. 1-tap, sack a creature, you return an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, and 1-tap, sack an artifact, draw a card. This is not going to see standard play at all for the effect it does. It's not really very relevant. I'm trying to think of its limited perspective, and to be honest, it doesn't seem that good. Just because it's a 0/1 goat token, so you'll just get to chump, which could arguably be alright. And Trading Post is good if you sacrifice. You can sacrifice itself to draw a card, but it's 5 mana and a turn to draw a card, which seems pretty sketchy. If you have other artifacts to get rid of, then you can gain value from it. But that's the only time I see this seeing any play in limited. Next we have Prized Elephant. So we've got a series of commons and uncommons that are, I want to say that they're mostly, no, it looks like they're all uncommons. There are a series of uncommons that are 1 color, and if you activate an ability from one of its allied colors, it gets better. So for example, Prized Elephant here, which is in my opinion among the better of these, is a 4 mana 3/3 that gets +1/+1 as long as you control a forest. And with a green source, you can give it trample. So if you're playing white-green, this card is very, very powerful because you have a 4/4 trample for 4, which is pretty, I would argue, pretty relevant. It seems very good in limited. Standard, of course, not so much, but this one is certainly a card to keep your eyes out for if you're in those colors. Next, we have Arctic Haven. It's a 3 mana 2/1 flyer that has +1/+1 as long as you control planes, and for white you can give it lifelink till end of turn. This is another one that I think is pretty good if you're in blue-white skies, which I'm stubborn. I'm going to assume that that you can play it in every core set. This is certainly a good card in that sense. Otherwise, it's not that good. It's a 2/1 flyer for 3, which is okay, but if you're playing a Plains card, it gets very good very, very fast. Next, you have Crimson Mudwhacker. It's a 2 mana 2/1, gets +1/+1 as long as you control a swamp, and you can regenerate it for 3 mana, one of it being black. Now, this is interesting because if you recall, M12 had a lot of black-red aggro decks, and this card would be very, very good in it, I think. A 2 mana 3/2 is solid, especially how aggressive you're going. I don't know how good it'll see in M13, but it's certainly a decent card, and there's a reason why these are uncommons. It's because they're pretty good. The last one, I already mentioned the black and blue one in previous spoiler videos, but this is the one that I think has the greatest chance of having some standard play out of any of these. It's a 2 mana 2/2, gets +1/+1 as long as you control a mountain. So it's basically a 2 mana 3/3, which is pretty solid, and it's in green and red, which is, a pretty good color combination if we haven't noticed between Wolf Run and green-red aggro. So this is the one that I see having the possibility of having the most standard play, which is to say any at all. I'm not sure if it will, though. Next we have War Falcon. It's a 1 mana 2/1 flyer that can't attack unless you control a knight or a soldier. Now, Wizard says that they're releasing a series of lords. Now, if you notice, Master of the Pearl Trident was released yesterday, which is a better Lord of Atlantis. I'm starting to wonder whether or not War Falcon will be, with something like Knight Exemplar, right? Or because we already have the White Lord for soldiers, so we'll see. I'm not sure how much play this guy will see. It does block Delver, which is something. Yeah, it blocks Delver. I would still argue that Lingering Souls could be better, but that Lingering Souls is just always a good card. Next we have a reprint of Akroma's Memorial, which I'm happy about. I don't have one yet, and it's going to be nice for this to for the price to drop a little bit. For those you don't know, Akroma's Memorial is very, very good in Limited, at least from what I have seen in the past. Basically, creatures you control have Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, Protection from Black, and Protection from Red. Yeah, it seems pretty good. It's a tribute to original, Akroma, who had a good chunk of these abilities. I want to say all of them. Yeah, if you're able to cast this and you have a creature, it's pretty good. And lastly, we have Fungal Sprouting. It's a 4-mana sorcery. Put X 1/1 creatures, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. I approve of the Gabe Guru of Spores flavor text. Good little shout out over there. So I think that this card is gonna be on the okay to better side in Limited, especially since it's in green, and green typically has some giant creatures to cast. So this could be an okay finisher. I'm not sure, but certainly it's okay for Limited. Standard, not so much. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, and subscribe.